Trap them.
Okay, wait a minute. I got three. Y'all have three cop cars because I'm feeding cats?
No, we always do this. It's
That's
fine.
unbelievable.
Go ahead and get in your car.
Ma'am, go to your car before you get arrested.
I guess you want.
Maybe you need to review the laws, ma'am.
Okay. What's gonna
Do you have a
happen is-
supervisor?
What's gonna happen is you're gonna identify yourself. If you choose not to identify yourself, because now I've asked you about 4 times already,
Not gonna happen.
then this is gonna rise to the level of obstruction of justice because I have to figure out
What
you're
crime?
doing.
What crime do you
You
suspect
won't tell
me?
me what you're doing here.
I already
Your
told you,
behavior
ma'am.
is highly suspicious.
I already told you,
There's
ma'am.
No, you're not explaining
Can I speak to your
anything.
supervisor?
If you simply identify yourself
Well, ma'am,
and explain what's going on here, then we don't have an issue.
I already
but I'm
told
gonna
you.
start to get aggravated
Well-
if you take up more of my time today. Do you understand?
well, ma'am,
Okay?
you're taking time for yourself. I'm a public citizen. I'm on a public sidewalk, recording a public building. Unless you're suspecting me of committing any crimes, then I suggest for you to treat me. Ma'am, don't put your hands on me. Ma'am, don't put your hands.
Cops often tend to stop random people who aren't as guilty as they seem, just to abuse their power a little. But what happens when those arrests are unlawful? First off, apparently from now on, feeding cats is a highly illegal act, at least when you ask these officers, who were called to this property for exactly that reason. A woman was feeding cats. Watch as the situation becomes borderline ridiculous.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. All right. What question? What are you doing?
Trying to trap some cats.
Okay. All right. We got a call that somebody was out here feeding the cats and stuff like that. So.
I'm trying to track them.
Okay. You have your driver's license with you, man? Where do you take them once you trap them?
Okay, wait a minute. I got three. Y'all have three cop cars because I'm feeding cats?
No, we always do this. It's
That's
fine.
unbelievable.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, give me just a second, Miss Al.
So the lady was actually trying to help the cats, for which 3 cop cars had to pull up, which she also noticed and couldn't help but mention. Now, it's unknown why she was feeding and trapping the cats as of right now, but what is known is that the officer didn't have any reason to demand her ID. In a few minutes, the officers told her she's being trespassed, and they got in a little argument.
You're formally trespassed from this area right here, so if you come back and we catch you out here, you go to jail for criminal trespass third. No, ma'am.
This is public property.
City
Public
property.
This is
and
city
there's
property.
no public,
Yes, ma'am.
which makes it public property.
Yeah, and the city does not want anybody feeding the animals around here because they're becoming a nuisance.
I'm trying to help that nuisance by catching them. I mean,
Okay.
they should be thanking me. I've got a trap set right there trying to help catch them and get them out of here.
We have an animal control officer that's certified for that.
I know that, and Terrence knows that I try to help him catch them.
Okay.
We're telling you no.
Okay, the trespass stands. Just don't be around here trapping them anymore, okay?
The officers told the woman to leave and not come back, however. She tried to explain what she was doing and why, essentially telling them that she's helping the system. But they didn't want to listen, and she didn't want to leave, so the officers came back again. They noticed that her mother was there as well. This time, they threatened both the woman and her old mother with arrest.
Well, man, we told you to leave this area. Well,
1428 returns to Beverly
We're teetering
Robert,
now.
the
We're teetering on going to jail.
2006 Toyota Camry, gray in color, car 29 negative.
I'm teetering on going to jail for feeding cats.
well, for trespassing, we told you to leave, and you haven't left. I could take you to jail now. I'm not trying to do that. Ma'am, do you have your driver's license with you?
Yeah. I mean, we're trying to do a good
Thank you,
thing.
ma'am.
I don't
Not
understand.
39.
We're trying to help. We're not doing anything.
Negative 10 You want to handle her? And she's still not leaving. If you want to take her to jail too, go for it. All right.
The officer then goes to talk to Miss Roberts, telling her that they've had problems with her in the past.
Ms. Roberts? Okay. Apparently, they've had an issue with you out here before with the cats.
Not here.
Feeding the cats out here, right?
Well, I feed them. We've been trying to trap them and we get them neutered and then get them homes.
Okay.
So we're trying to do the city a favor.
Okay. Well, the city has asked you multiple times.
The city?
Yes, ma'am. Not to do this.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and they have trespassed you. Okay, and now you're trespassing.
I'm
Okay.
sitting in my car. I'm not.
Well,
I
well, you're
haven't
on
touched-
ma'am, you're on the property. You've got cat food. Okay, it's pretty. I mean, all in the back seat. It's pretty clear what you're.
The woman clearly had no idea about what the officer is talking about. All she was trying to do was find the cats a home, which is a nice thing to do. After a few minutes, the officers actually placed the old woman under arrest and threat her daughter with the same fate as well. So doing good doesn't really correspond to these officers, since they're clearly abusing their power.
All right, so because you have been trespassed and you have returned yet again, we're gonna have to take you to jail. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Hey,
No.
You can go too.
I'm just,
No.
so I'm not
that-
allowed to talk.
No, that doesn't involve you. You've been told at
Uh,
least 25 minutes ago that you were trespassing here.
I will call a lawyer. All right.
Yes, ma'am. That's fine. You can call a lawyer as soon as you get to the jail. Okay.
As soon as I
Go ahead and
get
get in
to
your
jail.
car.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead and get in your car. Go ahead and get in your car.
Ma'am, go to your car before you get arrested.
I guess you wanted to.
No, I just wanted to say something.
Okay, get in your car.
Go ahead and get in your car.
Get in your car. All right, Miss Roberts. I'm gonna have to get you to step out. Okay.
I'd be trespassing if I did.
Well, ma'am, you're already trespassing.
You all are unbelievable. This is what you're wasting city gas on.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Step up here for me. Okay.
Now,
listen.
wait a minute.
I'm not gonna listen to me. I'm not listen. Hold on. Where are you going?
I'm going to give her my car keys so she can get my car to my
Here,
house.
give it to that officer right there. He'll hand them to her.
I want to say one thing.
Hey, it's gonna get ugly if you don't stop.
Can I please?
Okay. Now you just gotta know it's coming.
Can I say
Congratulations.
something?
Get out. Get out. I'm tired of you. Get out. Get out.
Help him.
I got hurt really bad.
Can I get my car off
No,
the
ma'am.
road?
You just threw those keys at an officer. You are not getting anything.
The outcome of this situation was ridiculous as well. These two innocent women were taken to jail and sentenced to 10 days in prison. Alongside that, they were also fined and later released on probation. This female officer is another example of cops abusing power, as she thought recording on a public property is a crime. The situation quickly gets heated up as the man doesn't want to answer any questions since he's not detained. Take a look.
What are you doing over there?
Videotaping? Facility?
Why are you videotaping him? Okay.
My own purposes?
What's going on?
I don't answer questions.
Do you have any idea anybody?
I don't answer questions.
Okay. We got a call for a suspicious person, okay? This is kind of suspicious behavior.
Okay, what crime do you suspect me of committing?
Alright, before we act stupid, okay? Let's just talk about when you're standing in front of a facility that's a government building. You're filming it like that. Well, the attention of the security guards, right? There might be some cause for concern for who you are and if you intend to do anybody any harm.
Well, I have no ill will.
Alright, well, I can't take your word for it, okay?
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask you to identify yourself.
Well, do you know that we're standing in a public property,
That's it.
and
I'm
unless
the
you're,
police, okay?
I understand.
I'm investigating something right now.
Okay,
I'm
so am I.
Service, okay?
So am I.
What are you investigating?
I'm a private investigative journalist gathering content for a story. And you should know that unless I'm being suspected of a crime, I don't have to provide ID.
Well, until I can determine that you are not committing a crime.
When questioned about the basis for her reasonable articulable suspicion, the officer opted to deflect rather than respond. Instead of providing an explanation, she chose to delay the conversation while attempting to establish her authority over a man. Adding to the complexity of the situation, she demanded the man's identification, which he declined to provide. Interestingly, when the officer herself was asked to divulge her name and badge number, her response took an unexpected turn. She contended that she wasn't obligated to disclose her identity because the man hadn't shown his ID first. We all know where this is going. towards a lawsuit.
Well, I think I'm gonna have to decline to that, ma'am. Do you have a what's your name and badge number?
You can decline. It's on my chest.
What's your name? I don't see your name in your chest.
Well, you haven't identified yourself to me.
I don't have to, ma'am. You're a government official. You're entitled to identify yourself.
Fantastic. What
What's
I'm
your name
gonna
and
do
badge number?
If you do not identify yourself to me,
Yes?
continue to do this.
Yes.
Tie me up.
Yes.
Okay. Let's not make a bigger thing than we have to.
It's not. I'm just doing a lawfully protected.
Can you identify yourself as a journalist then?
I don't have to, ma'am. This is the United States of America. No, I don't,
I
ma'am.
think you need to review the laws.
Maybe you need to review the laws.
The arrival of backup brings a new layer of intensity to the situation. It's intriguing to observe how the presence of additional officers seems to embolden the female cop, pushing her to escalate her behavior and even violate the law. What's particularly noteworthy is the stark shift in her demeanor, moving from a composed state to one charged with confrontation the moment more police personnel come into the picture. A pivotal moment unfolds when she's given the instruction to communicate with her supervisor. Rather than complying, she takes a defiant stance and goes so far as to make a threatening statement. She mentions the possibility of charging the man with obstruction of justice. Her justification hinges on his alleged failure to disclose his identity or provide an explanation for his actions. However, the crux of the matter lies in the fact that the man wasn't legally obligated to do either of these things. In reality, he had the option to simply walk away without infringing upon any regulations.
Maybe you need to review the laws, ma'am.
Okay. What's gonna
Do you have a
happen is-
supervisor?
What's going to happen is you're going to identify yourself. If you choose not to identify yourself, because now I've asked you about 4 times already,
Not gonna happen.
then this is going to rise to the level of obstruction of justice because I have to figure out
What crime? What crime do you
You
suspect
won't tell
me?
me what you're doing here.
I already
Your
told you,
behavior
ma'am.
is highly suspicious.
I already told you,
There's
ma'am.
No, you're not explaining
Can I speak to your
anything.
supervisor?
If you simply identify yourself
Well, ma'am,
and explain what's going on here, then we don't have an issue.
I already
but I'm
told
gonna
you.
start to get aggravated
Well-
if you take up more of my time today. Do you understand?
well, ma'am,
Okay.
you're taking time for yourself. I'm a public citizen. I'm on a public sidewalk, recording a public building. Unless you're suspecting me of committing any crimes, then I suggest for you to treat me. Ma'am, don't put your hands on me. Ma'am, don't put your hands on me.
She even went as far as trying to get physical with the man and place him in handcuffs, which is crazy, knowing that the detention was unlawful anyways. Eventually, though, they get to arrest the man. But after the supervisors get the footage of the situation, she gets suspended for 8 weeks without pay. This man was simply standing on a public property when a few police officers approached him. Now, it didn't seem like there was anything wrong at first, but they soon told him that somebody actually called 911 on him because they thought he was homeless and begging for food. Of course, the officers couldn't just leave the man alone, so they started demanding his ID and going as far as threatening him to go to jail. Let's see what happened.
Good morning, gentlemen. God bless our homeless veterans. All right, cool. All right.
You got your ID on you?
What for?
Vagrancy.
Vagrancy.
Yes, sir. Got several complaints on here. You're begging for food, money, stuff like that.
That's not true.
Okay, well, I'm just out here for that reason.
Okay.
So, do you have your ID on you?
Am I required to give you ID?
Yes, you are.
What happens if I don't give it to you?
You're going to jail. Period.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Sir, I'm standing on a public sidewalk engaged in constitutionally protected
Correct.
activity.
Correct. But I'm letting you know you're going to go to jail, no question.
So right off the bat, the officer approaches the man quite aggressively. It's important to note that the man did not have to provide his ID for just standing on a public sidewalk, and the officer had no right to take him to jail in case he failed to provide it. But let's continue.
Even if I'm standing on a public
Yes,
sidewalk?
yes. How many times do I got to explain it to you?
So if I don't give you ID, I'm
Yeah,
going to
you're
jail.
going to jail for failure to identify.
Can I just leave?
If you wish to do so, but I need to identify you.
I don't wish to do so. I'd like to stay here. Express my...
You're not going to stay here, period. I'll let you know.
Do I have to leave?
Yes,
Why?
because I'm instructing you. I'm giving you a lawful order to leave.
And if I don't leave,
You're going to jail
I'll go to jail.
for
And
failure.
your Officer Sergeant Joffrey in?
Sergeant Joffrey, Officer Anderson.
Y'all have a good day.
You got your ID with you?
So if I don't leave, I'll go to...
The officer, which appeared to be a sergeant, was sure that the only reason the man has to leave was because he said so, a classic abuse of power. Even though the man was about to leave the scene, the harassment continued, and the officer clearly didn't care about that man's rights. Mind you, The officer had no reasonable articulate suspicion to detain him, meaning everything they were doing was unlawful.
If I don't give you ID, I'll go to jail.
Yes.
Even though I've explained to you that I'm engaged in constitutionally protected
I don't
activity.
care if you explain it to me or not.
Safeguarded by the First Amendment. It's
Okay.
freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom of assembly on a traditional public forum, the steps of City Hall.
Correct.
I'm
Yes.
not begging for
You got
money.
your ID?
I'm not begging for money.
Okay. You got your ID.
Do I need to show you my ID?
You need to show me your ID. Yes, sir.
Or what?
You're going to jail.
Well, you guys, I tell you, man. I'm going to put you on notice before I show you my ID and before you deal with it.
No, you're going to show me.
Eventually, the man decided to show them his ID, since there wasn't much he could do in the situation, since he was clearly overpowered. The problem here is, though, that the sergeant continues his power trip, and he's so sure everything he's saying is right.
I hear in reference to a complaint
All right.
by the mayor of this city.
By the mayor.
By the mayor of this city.
Okay.
If you have any complaints, you can send me an email, call him later on.
You know, at this point, I'm going to remain silent because this is obviously, you guys,
This isn't some free will state, man. This is how it is in the state of Mississippi.
so you don't have freedom in the state of Mississippi.
If you don't like it, you can go back to Florida. Period.
All right, well, let me have my ID and I'll go back to Florida.
I'll give you ID once it comes back.
I don't want to go to jail. And you're a veteran.
I'm a veteran. Yes.
What
sir.
did you serve?
Huh?
Where did you serve?
That's none of your business.
All right. Did you take an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution when you served?
I absolutely did.
Yeah, and you're not doing that right now.
Okay, that's your
Did you
opinion.
take an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution when
that
you
is your opinion.
became a cop?
That is your opinion.
And you're not doing it right now.
That's your opinion.
You guys are a supervisor?
I'm the supervisor.
Great. Not only is the officer annoying and abusing his power, he's also showing severe lack of empathy, telling the man in his face that he doesn't care about him or anything he's saying. So the sergeant was holding the man's ID, waiting for the dispatcher to get back to him with some information he thought he needed on the man. Turns out, he had a record about as clean as a baby's bottom. There wasn't anything he could do but to return the ID to the man and apologized. Well, that would be in a perfect world. He didn't actually apologize. The sergeant is also claiming that he never told the man he was going to jail, even though we've heard him say it a dozen times. Ridiculous. Let's see how the situation unfolds.
I better start recording this.
You can start recording. We've been recording the whole time since we made contact.
Told you I'm not panhandling. I'm just coming out saying God bless the homeless veteran on this public sidewalk at the steps of City Hall. You don't care. I'm going to jail.
I didn't say you were going to jail.
You never said I was going to jail? Oh boy, I wish I was recording before. You guys said you're recording? Can you get body camera videos in the state of Mississippi through a public record request?
Absolutely not.
Central Waiver 14.
Good.
10-4, that's 27. We'll come back to a Marcus Jeffrey. Valid. Negative 29. It's negative 4.
All right, Mr. Jeffrey, you're free to go.
Pretty good. Can I stay?
No, so you cannot stay. You got to go.
I'm going to jail.
Give you a lawful order and not come back. Have a good evening.
Public property should be open to everyone, right? Well, apparently not, if you ask the sergeant this man had to deal with.